Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to blur the background in Photoshop to make your subject really pop. If you've ever wanted that stylish portrait look where the person stands out crisply against a soft, dreamy backdrop, this tutorial is for you. By the end, you'll understand not only how to blur a background, but also the best ways to do it for clean, professional results. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing you want to do is open up your image in Photoshop. Take a look at the subject you want to keep clear. Maybe it's a person, a product, or even a pet. The key idea here is we're going to separate the subject from the background, so the blur only affects the part of the image behind them. To do this, we need to select the subject. There are different ways, but one of the simplest is the Select Subject feature. Just go to the toolbar, click on Select, and then choose Subject. Photoshop does a pretty good job nowadays, scanning for the main object in your photo and outlining it for you. If the automated selection isn't perfect, maybe it misses a strand of hair or catches a bit of the background, don't worry. You can use tools like Quick Selection or Lasso to refine the edges manually. The more time you spend here, the neater your final effect will be. Think of this step as laying the foundation for everything that comes next. Once you've got your subject selected, the next move is to invert the selection. That's because right now, Photoshop thinks you want to edit your subject, but our goal is to blur everything except the subject. So go to Select up in the menu bar and hit Inverse. Now the background is selected, ready for editing. Now comes the fun part, applying the blur. Head up to Filter in the top menu, slide down to Blur, and pick the blur filter that suits your vision. Gaussian blur is a classic choice. It gives you that soft, even blur. If you move the slider to adjust the radius, you'll see the background getting progressively softer. Experiment until it feels right. Usually a bit of blur goes a long way, enough to separate your subject, but not so much that it looks fake or out of place. If you want to get a bit fancy, Photoshop offers advanced blurring options under Filter, Blur Gallery. Here, you'll find blurs like Field Blur and Iris Blur. These give you more control, letting you decide exactly where the blur starts and stops, and how intense it gets in different parts of the image. So if you're aiming for that professional portrait effect, the kind photographers call bokeh, this is where you want to experiment. Don't be afraid to play with these settings. Sometimes, subtle changes can make a big difference. For a super streamlined approach, you can even use Photoshop's Quick Action feature. Simply open the Discover panel, usually tucked away on the right side or accessible from the Help menu. Click on Browse, then Quick Actions, and select Blur Background. Photoshop automates most of the work for you here. It tries to pick out your subject and blur the rest. This option is great if you need fast results or you're not comfortable with manual selections yet. Keep in mind, it might not be as precise as doing it yourself, but it's a cool shortcut. Once you've finished, take a moment to check the edges of your subject. Sometimes blurring the background can create sharp transitions or halos around the selection. If you spot anything like that, try feathering the selection a little before applying the blur or use the Refine Edge tool to soften the outline. Attention to these details will make your photo look polished and natural. And that's it. Blurring the background is a fantastic way to draw attention to your subject and give your images a professional finish. If you found this tutorial helpful, please hit that like button, share your questions in the comments below. I do check and try to help out. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth Photoshop guides. Thanks for watching, and happy editing.